I bet you most of the people don't know what it is though, because whenever you come from a world like that, like my world was hockey. All my friends watched hockey, so everybody knows all the hockey teams, right? As soon as you escape that and talk to people outside of that, they don't know shit.
Well, I am not a sports person, clearly, but I know that. Like, I knew that much.
I bet you most of the people don't know. I'm not like at all. Whenever you come from a world, to me, it just, I grew up an athlete. I always watched.
Right.
So it's like part of me that's still like, I don't mind watching it, but I used to get so emotionally invested and get pissed off when they lost, and I was that guy.
Oh God, no! The extent of my
it was bad
sports support was the Saints, but then the NFL went all freaking crazy, and I just can't even anymore. Like, I support my city, but that's.
Have you ever Googled NFL and if is NFL entertainment?
Oh, I saw something about this the other day. They had to come out and admit that they were officially entertainment or some shit, right?
And they said that they have every right to predetermine the outcome of the game.
Horseshit.
And I saw the screenshot.
Man,
and
what?
I said I have to Google this myself, and I found it. And you just type in NFL entertainment or something like that, and it pops up.
See, now 2 years ago that'd have been a conspiracy theory,
Right.
And now
I should have made that good.
Yeah, in 2022, it is truth. Imagine that. What up, peeps? What up, DLive and Rokfin fam? Twitch folk? Scott, Fearless, Mr. Spock. Ooh, love when Mr. Spock shows up. What up, Beginning Hope? Frightening Me.
Upgrade,
Leyland. Yeah. Here, let me
play that, and I'm going to read what Google says about the NFL.
Alright, let me do our little video here. It's Friday, bitches.
Watch Loyal to the Foil, but don't believe anything she says. Do your own research for yourself. Don't let other people think for you.
Yeah, buddy, do your own research, right? I love how that's. Yeah, what's up, bitches? I love how that's mocked now. Do your own research. Like, people really mock that hard. What up, people? What up? Thanks, Miracle Girlie, for the can. Jonas Ark for the cookie. Happy Friday, peeps. It's good to see you guys.
The problem with doing your own research is you can do your own research all you want, but if you're looking in the wrong place, you're not going to find the truth.
Yeah, buddy. Oh, look. What up, AP? Good to see you. Haven't seen you in a while. Hello. Yeah. So what is going on? Hey, Inez. Nancy Lucky. I see. Nee. What up, Fearless? Yeah, Piler. Yeah, what up, Piler?
Piler Kiwala.
Piler Kiwala.
What's Kiwala from? I don't remember.
The Kiwala?
When James Bartley posted our interview, he put my last name as Kiwala. That's right.
Wow, I mean, that makes sense. What up, Amelia? Mary Maya. Hello, Manisol Essence. Good to see you. Look at you. For some reason, I always think you have like some liquor and you're just at it, right? Like, it's Friday and I'm ready to swing.
How do you know it's not?
I know, right? Could be.
Right.
Could be. So what's good with you?
I'm not telling you.
Always with the classified information, man. Just tell me about this. Yeah, tell me about this.
No, so I saw I saw a post floating around the internet about the NFL being for entertainment purposes only. You can, if you look it up on Google,
like wrestling.
But you got to fact check everything nowadays. So I literally went and typed in NFL for entertainment, and it finished the search for me. Is an NFL for entertainment purposes only. Very first thing that pops up on Google is the NFL is a private business so it is entirely legal for it to predetermine the outcome of its games, just as the WWE does. Ultimately, it need be no different than a scripted television series or movies.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy. People be betting
Right.
money and shit. Oh, I'd be mad.
It's right in your face. And there's been whistleblowers, there's been people who've come out and said it, who've worked in the industry before, and they've said, yeah, like we literally predetermine we can make any team we want win, you know.
Yep,
And
that's right, Golden Crisp. NFL is rigged. It's rigged, man.
right. The NBA too apparently is another big one that's rigged.
Are
I'm
we
sure all sports
surprised?
are,
They
but
probably, yeah, I'm sure.
well, I heard that the NFL and the NBA is like is a way that these elite families like move money around by betting on these teams. So they rig the team, you know,
Yeah, that
it's
and apparently really shitty art. Uh,
mhm.
that also, right?
Well, yeah,
Look what I got. Look at this.
a
That's
new
sweet,
wand.
right? I got a new
That's
wand from Yuvonda.
wow.
Look what
Oh,
else I got. Look what else, guys. Look at this. This is awesome. It's a red pill pyramid. Like she sent me a tinfoil hat pyramid. Now I got a red pill pyramid. Is that not sweet?
that's awesome.
I know Yuvonda makes. You got your Yuvonda wand there. Look at that.
Right.
I like that. She's got some new stuff, guys. You can go over to her Etsy page. It's linked in my description below. Check it out. Show her some love. She makes awesome stuff. I like the red. I'm a fan of the red. I'm a fan of the red wands and the red pill pyramids. She sent me some little tower blockers too. They're sweet. So definitely go check that out. Uh, yeah, buddy. New Wanda. Yes, Golden Crisp. It's a new Wanda, right? It's
It's a
chameleon,
perfect man. It's a perfect play on words. You can say
right?
anything.
Right.
Right.
So what else is going on?
Oh shit! I don't even have an answer for that. I just went to a crystal show today.
Ooh.
Came through town, and it's as an empath, it's overwhelming. Like you know, I'm sensitive to energies, and in that room with thousands and thousands of crystals, it is almost overwhelming. It's like gives you anxiety. As soon as I left, I felt all right. I calmed down a little bit, but it's amazing. It's
Even at the
super cool.
crystal shop in Sedona, when we went there, like you could, it was all kinds of like, I don't know, energetic ruckus in there
Right.
for
Yeah.
sure.
That's how it is. I don't think, you know, everybody's
hmm
looking at crystals for the beauty, but no one's actually tapping in. I mean, I shouldn't say no one, but the average person isn't tapping into the energy
Well, when you've
of the
got
crystal.
50,000 sources of different types of energies and different types of
Right.
things going on, and they're all jumbled up into one place, you're like,
Right.
what?
Exactly.
It's
Yeah.
like going to
What's
the
going
mall, a
on?
mall full of people. It's the same kind of thing. Like,
Hmm.
what? Like,
Right.
there's too much going
What?
on in here, right? I gotta get out of here. What up, Foxhole fam? Rainbow Snuggle Fritz, good to see you. What up, Keep True? Golden Crisp, nice to see you. Thumper Rose. Who else was in? Joan of Sark, Miracle Girly. Thank you guys. Thanks for the gold pill love. Yeah. So, yes, fearless puffin muffin stuffing. That's what we do around here, right? Yeah, your conference is coming up. Super excited about that. That's gonna be fun. Uh,
Yes. That's coming up. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's getting real. For a while, it was just like, yeah, we're doing a conference, but now it's getting real.
right, it was like months
Like,
away. Now it's
like
like right
I'm
around the
all the
corner.
yeah, I'm like, okay, shit, I have to actually put together a conference now. Like, no, but it's all coming together. Everybody's the right help is showing up. It's going to be amazing.
I believe it.
Um, I'm just,
Was it May
I'm
3rd through the 5th in Grafton, Illinois?
second through the fifth.
May 2nd through the 5th. I was close. I'm always late
Yeah,
for things, so of course I
that's all
think
right.
it's the 3rd, you know.
That's all right.
Yeah, secretspaceconference.info. Go check that out. That is also in my description below. So definitely, if you haven't got your tickets yet, what are you doing with your life? I'm gonna be there hanging out. It's gonna be sweet, right? We're gonna talk about some aliens. We're gonna go look for some Bigfoots. Gonna bring some peanut
Right.
butter and apples for these things. I'm convinced we're gonna find them. Convinced.
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a fun week for
I
sure.
think so. I think so. Uh, all right. Well, I got something for you. I got some crazy questions for you today. Found some crazy topics, some stuff we haven't talked about before. Let's get into
Bring it
this.
on. Bring it on.
Let's get into this. All right, guys. FOIA documents. recently released, confirmed that DARPA, right? Those freaking geniuses. DARPA has invested $100 million into what technology? Is it A, robotic wombs, B, an intergalactic communications device, C, a genetic project for racial extinction, or D, a centralized automated news generating algorithm? Should I say those again?
I'm gonna go with A.
Right? They
Say them
are,
again though.
it does sound super evil. What up, T-Webs? Good to see you. Yeah, okay. FOIA documents recently released confirmed that DARPA has invested $100 million into what technology? Is it A, robotic wombs, B, an intergalactic communications device, C, a genetic project for racial extinction, or D, a centralized automated news generating algorithm? It's a mouthful,
We
I know.
have a lot of A's and a D and a B.
I see, right? Right? Look at all this. Look at all this. Yeah, brew, regular ass crazy. That's what we do around here on Fridays. It's regular ass crazy time. Let's get down to it, right? The answer is actually C,
The one nobody
the
guessed.
one nobody, a genetic project for racial extinction. No joke, right? Remember you posted that James Bond shit this earlier, and what were they talking about?
A bioweapon that targets races,
Mhm.
ethnicities.
Mhm. You could target an entire genetic line, you could target specific genotypes, you could target whatever, you could narrow it down to a single person, you could take out their entire family. This is real, people, right?
Yeah,
Um
and
and they
it's funny. Sorry, go ahead.
no, go ahead before I
I
start
was
on my whole
saying
little spiel.
in the movie they explain it. It's a movie or not. I think they do that. They explain the science of it, like all the way down to every last detail. So they show you completely how it works. And it was in the movie. It was designed to target one person, so it would they match it with this person's DNA. So it would pass through everyone. It wouldn't affect anyone until it got to this specific DNA, and then it would kill that person or affect
Right.
that person.
You get
But
all these
then,
people that were carrying whatever it was, and when it got to the person that
right,
they needed, that's the only person it would take out.
right. But then in the movie, someone broke into the lab and stole the files at gunpoint,
Of
and
course they did. Of course they did.
then they basically reverse engineered it and flipped it. So instead of one person, it targeted everyone else.
Yeah, see, it could this it's horrible shit, man. There was fringe episodes dealing with this. Like we've seen this in media for a long time, right? Like where they
Yeah.
come with genetically specific weaponry. And I did a thread on this on Twitter a long time ago. It was crazy. So turns out that the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency has invested $100 million into what they're calling gene drive research, right? Thanks, Sookie, for the can. I'm always late. Don't feel bad. Um, yeah, into what they're calling gene drive research, right? In an effort to procure genetic extinction technologies, this is according to emails released under FOIA applications, right? The documents that they got show that DARPA is the world's leading source for funding this kind of a genetic extinction technology. And clearly, people are freaking out. I mean, they've had the UN Convention on Biological Diversity met to debate whether or not to impose like a moratorium on this kind of research. They totally should. Not that anybody would listen. I mean, with like CRISPR-Cas9, you could literally do this shit in your basement if you know what you're doing. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and then you've got people defending it. Like you're giving a bad name to gene drives. Like one of the examples that they gave was this doesn't have to be used just on humans. Like they could target the genetics of mosquitoes to make sure that they can't breed. Where have we heard this before? That did not Bill Gates did a similar thing. It did not end up the way that they planned at all, right? They ended up with freaking super mosquitoes. I hate mosquitoes, man. Um, so the Guardian had reported on this, and what is crazy, what is crazy about this is that even though they've been collecting biological material from all over the country and from different ethnic groups and people living in different geographical regions, one of the primary regions that they have targeted has been Russia. This is
All
one of
right.
the reasons
Of course.
Russia has freaked out about this, and Putin even got on TV and said this. Like, he got up there and he said, "Do you know, the they're collecting biological material. It's just the question is, why is it being done? He said it's being done purposefully and professionally. We are an object of great interest to these people. And people got up there and called Putin a conspiracy theorist, right? Said he was, he's full of shit, whatever. No, turns out it's true, right? One place that they did not collect any genetic material, and this is in the article, was Ukraine. Okay, they got all kinds of genetic material from people in the Russian Federation, but they did not collect any in Ukraine. And it turns out, and I saw my friend Blue on Twitter had did a post on this the other day. They said that we moved our embassy from Kyiv to Lviv or some shit, right? To this other city. Well, turns out the U.S. has 3 biolabs in that city where we moved our embassy temporarily to.
Of course.
In the Ukraine.
Right.
Talk about conspiracy theories coming full circle, man.
Every one of them. It's all, I mean, at some point, it's just like you just have to accept it. That
what do we even say at this point?
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's just, I don't know, get in your truck and drive around with a bunch of other people in trucks, and that's the answer.
It's crazy. I mean, they could, it's just like the James Bond movie. Like, they could literally target.
Right. 100%. That movie, yeah, so much. Which we've heard this way before. Like, I've been hearing this for years about them being able to target certain races and ethnicities.
What up, Wonder Mod? Good to see you. Yeah, guys, I appreciate the gold pill love. Lord knows I need it. If you want to donate directly, you can do that. My Cash App is in the description on my YouTube channel. Feel free. And that is all I'm going to say about that.
Is it true that the tow trucks that Trudeau called in for the convoy are actually joining the convoy now?
Oh, listen, I did just 2 hours ago see an article that one of the Canadian tow truck companies that they call has now refused to tow any of the trucks.
Right, I heard it joining. I saw a video and I heard it joining that would be amazing. That would be amazing.
Right? Yeah. I also saw, and I was so pissed, right? Saw the police coming in with gas masks on, and then they asked the head of the Ottawa police, like, are you guys planning on using tear gas or some kind of gas on the protesters? And he was like, we are, we've given them ample time to get out. Every minute that we don't take action is a minute that they could be leaving. And then he said something about the ultimate resolution. We're coming to the ultimate resolution with these protesters. I said, like, bro, don't use the word ultimate. Like, it just sounds bad. Like,
right. It is. All right. Next question.
Honk, honk.
Question. All right. The little green frog known as Pepe has been plaguing the deep state since Trump's arrival in the politics and is said to be a depiction of which ancient Egyptian god?
Ooh.
So the little green frog known as Pepe that has been plaguing the deep state since Trump's arrival in the politics is said to be a depiction of what ancient Egyptian god? A, Ra, the god of the sun. B, Osiris, the god of life and fertility. C, Horus, the god of war and justice. Or D, Kek, the god of primordial darkness and chaos.
I'm going to go with Kek. Wild guess here. Just total shot in the dark. Right? Yeah, Brand, you can scream out the window all day about my show. That's great. Thanks.
What's going on?
Brand says he's on social media strike, but he'll scream out the window to tell people to watch my show. Yes, by all means.
Yeah, pass out business cards for conspiracy trivia.
Yeah, that'd be great, right? Conspiracy theory trivia cards.
All right, the answer is D, Kek, which is interesting because Kek is also, when you type in LOL in a different lange. What language is it? It's spelled Kek.
Oh, does it come up as Kek?
Yeah, I forget. I know this is true because somebody proved it. Whatever country their language is, when you type in LOL, it was auto correcting it to Kek because that's how what it would be for them.
Sounds chaotic to me.
But yeah, so Kek, and this is coming straight from the Egyptian text. He embodies the time right before the dawn, making him the bringer of light.
Look at that.
And it's no coincidence that we have this little green
But
frog
wasn't
as
there a
the
thing like
mascot.
this thing was actually drawn, like the person that actually came up with Pepe was like big mad that it was co-opted into the red pill movement. Am I correct here,
I
guys?
don't
Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty
I don't
sure
know,
I remember seeing
but
that
the,
somewhere.
but the Egyptian god is a frog. It's a frog god. Kek is a frog, so it's not like they were just making it up.
Right. But
Who knew that that little guy would be haunting the deep state?
yeah, I bet they gotta hate him. All the gifs and memes and stuff, right? I think he's kind of cute. He's all right, little frog
Yeah,
guy.
that was just a fun one I happened to stumble across.
Well, this is all about the fun, man. This is all about the fun.
I don't have a lot of literature on that one.
Right? All right. All right. This is another weird one. And I swear I'm going to do a conspiracy couch on this. The pip, the squeaky wheel, and the buzzer are examples of what? Is it A, Mossad spy code names, B, famous hitmen, C, DARPA designed weapons, or D, numbers stations?
Read the choices again, please.
Okay, I'm going to read it. The pip, the squeaky wheel, and the buzzer are all examples of what? Is it A, Mossad spy codenames, B, famous hitmen, C, DARPA designed weapons, or D, numbers stations?
I have no idea. Hey,
I know, I be finding the craziest shit, man. Let's see what they say, right?
no
Hey,
idea.
Leah Worth, good to
The,
see you.
the squeaky wheel.
The pip, the squeaky wheel, and the buzzer.
Okay, we're like those are operative names, of course. Where fucking
Seems legit,
squeaky wheel?
right? Somebody get the buzzer,
Yeah.
right? Call the buzzer.
So nobody's guessing A except for beginning hope. I don't think we got it. Beginning hope.
Let's see, what do we got here? We got C's, D's, B, boy, all over the place here. C. They are number stations. Do you know what a number station is?
Enlighten me.
So, all right. The one that I really was focusing on is called the buzzer, right? These are like ghost radio stations, right? A lot of them have been broadcasting for decades, and they used to be used, especially like during World War II, to communicate. They use shortwave radio to communicate like secret messages. And but what's crazy is so there's this in the middle of like a Russian swampland, like outside of St. Petersburg. Um, there is a location. It's a collection of radio towers, right? They think that this is the headquarters of this radio station, MDZHB. Nobody has ever claimed to run this thing. This is the buzzer, right? So 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for the last 3.5 decades, it has been broadcasting this like I don't it sounds like a foghorn, like this dull monotonous tone. And every few seconds there's a second sound. I mean it literally sounds like I don't know, like a ghost ship in in the middle of the sea. It's the craziest thing. Once or twice a week, a man or a woman will come on and read out some words in Russian, just random words, dinghy, farming specialist, catnip, random shit, whatever. And then that's it. Anybody in the world can hear this. The shortwave radio will travel, like it bounces off the atmosphere and it can travel. It doesn't have to travel in a straight line or anything. And I mean, across the world, this can be heard. And if anybody is curious, it's 4625 kilohertz is where you can tune in to hear this shit, right?
So you just tune in and you hear a
You can hear
buzz,
it's
or
it yes.
every once in a while you hear catnip.
Yeah, over and over and over again, right? Imagine this for like 30 or 40 years. This is going on. Nobody
So
knows. Nobody
who
knows.
listens to it long enough to hear the words?
The number stations have actually garnered something like a conspiracy theory cult following. Okay? Lots of people will sit around and they write down like some of the stations, like there's one called what is it? The Lincolnshire Poacher is what they've deemed the station, and it'll play like the first few bars of this like English folk song, and then it's a lady ring 6, 24, 38, 72, 84. And then it'll play the thing again, and then she'll come back on 10,
Like the lost
17,
numbers.
21, right? It's like the weirdest shit. And people keep track and they listen and they try to decode and figure out what the hell is being broadcast on these stations. But like this buzzer one, nobody knows who's doing it. Nobody knows where it's coming from. There are a million theories surrounding it. Like some people think that people are like in contact with extraterrestrials.
I want to hear. So so they what? Like it just beep beep beep, and then every once in a while I get a word.
I wish I could click on shit. You can literally, if you go to Google or you go to YouTube and type in 4625 kilohertz, it'll pull it up. Or type in the buzzer
But
number station.
is that how it works though? Is it just one random word every so often?
It's every once in a while they'll read a series of words and then that's it. And then it's just the entire rest of the time. It's this
It's like being at an auction. You
it's
just understand.
creepy. Like I sat and
only
listened
get
to it last night. I'm like, what the shit is this? Like, what is happening? This is the creepiest sounding shit in the world, right? So one of the theories with this buzzer station is that it's some sort of like a dead hand switch. Like as long as it's transmitting, everything is cool. But the people are thinking that maybe if the tone ever stops transmitting, that is like a signal for Russia to automatically retaliate, you know, with their entire nuclear arsenal. Like it's like a doomsday clock. Like if the thing ever cuts off, that means that immediately Russia's defenses will deploy all nuclear weapons, and it's just total catastrophe.
I wonder if it is something like Lost. Like she reads out those numbers, and somebody has to type in those numbers every time it gets to like a certain countdown, so it resets. And otherwise, if it
I
counts
don't
down,
know. Maybe maybe it is like that. But I mean, there are like there are numerous examples of these kinds of stations. As a matter of fact, as recently as 2010, there was an arrest in the United States where the FBI had broken up a long-term deep cover network of Russian agents who were supposedly getting their instructions via coded messages on a different frequency. It was 7887 kilohertz. But they were getting instructions through coded messages, shortwave radio on one of these number stations, and this was in 2010.
that makes perfect sense. I mean, that doesn't surprise me at all. People are getting secret messages through radio waves.
Right.
I mean,
No,
yeah,
no.
that's like
What up, Adam
1950s
Hugapug?
movie plot shit.
It really is. And if you
Yeah,
listen to it, like I know I talk about Fringe episodes. Fringe has literally done an episode on all this weird shit. There was a Fringe episode where people were listening to number stations and it like wiped their mind at one point, right?
right.
Who
Mind
knows?
control.
Right.
Yeah,
But
who
if you
knows?
listen to it, it's creepy. Like I immediately am like,
I don't want to. They're probably pumping some
boy, that
mind
sounds
control
weird,
frequencies.
right?
Probably is a mind control frequency. Fuck that.
Leah Worth, we try to stay away from the catastrophes, man, but apparently we are surrounded. Surrounded. Right? Yes, frightening me. Spooks be doing spooky stuff. Yeah, it's some spy shit, I think. But you know, there are the people that swear that you know they're communicating with aliens or whatever else. But you know, who knows? It's weird. It's a weird thing, though. You guys should look it up and check it out. It's crazy.
I'm gonna start broadcasting our podcast on that
On
frequency so
some,
everyone
there
hears
you
it.
go. There you go.
Um,
Right?
I think we
Co-opt
might have
their
covered
shit.
this. I think we might have covered this next one in like one of the early episodes with the actual board game, but doesn't matter. We all forgot about that by now. This this stretch of land, often referred to as America's UFO highway, spanning across the southern borders of Utah, Colorado, and Kansas, have documented hundreds of bizarre incidences, including cattle mutilations, is known as what? So what is this stretch of land that spans across the southern borders of Utah, Colorado, and Kansas, also known as the America's UFO highway? What is it known as besides America's UFO
I was gonna say America's UFO highway.
A, no, that's just what it's referred to. A, the Devil's Ley Line.
Ooh.
B, the 37th parallel. C, the Circle of Latitude. D, the 25th meridian.
Read them again.
A, the Devil's Ley Line. B, the 37th parallel. C, the Circle of Latitude. D, the 25th meridian. So this stretch of land spanning across the southern borders of Utah, Colorado, and Kansas have documented hundreds of bizarre incidences, including cattle mutilations and UFO sightings, is known as what?
I have no idea. I'm gonna go with the devil's ley line because I like to blame a lot of things on the devil. Like, not today, Satan. Not today. Right? Like, that's literally one of the things I say all the time. Oh, looks like everybody else. Oh, it's Route 60. Oh, well, then that makes sense. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah, and actually, there's a stretch of that highway that's 666 right in Dulce. No joke. It changes to 666 for a certain stretch right over Dulce,
I ain't going. No, I'm good.
New Mexico. So the answer is B, the 37th
Damn
parallel.
it.
There's a
I'm
book
still blaming the devil. I just want you to know that.
There's a book called The 37th Parallel that talks all about this. They were actually going to make it into a Hollywood movie. That book was going to be made into a movie until the virus hit, and then I guess it got scrapped. I don't know whatever happened with that, but yeah. So it doesn't just stop there, but that whole 37th parallel, which is 30 degrees above the equator, for anybody who doesn't know, 37 degrees above the equator.
Does weird shit just happen all?
It's all along the 37th parallel.
Is that where the pyramid? Like, if you keep going, is that the one where like the pyramids are located? Like, all of these things are located on the same parallel?
That I don't know. All I know is this one in particular in the United States. It runs north or east to west, west to east. It all of the most of the sightings in the United States happen on that ley line for some reason.
Imagine that.
Most of the cattle mutilations happen there.
Aw, thank you, Sookie. Thank you. Much love to you for the Cashapp love. My heart is just all on Twitter. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Oh, Atlanta is on. That doesn't surprise me. Atlanta's on the 33rd.
Third and 33rd, yeah.
Yeah, 33rd parallels the pyramids are telling me. Okay, so I know there's one of them where there's like a lot of all around or whatever.
Well, there is the whole theory is that
thank you, Stacks, for the cookie.
Is there like an active portal system there?
Something.
There's something about the energetics of that ley line where it makes it easier for them to come and go. Who knows?
Well, okay, I don't know if we've talked about it on this show before, but I know I've probably brought it up on Space Force News. Thanks again for the cookie, Stacks. The X diffusion zones, X zones. NASA has deemed them. They're like portals from the sun to the Earth. Are you familiar with this?
What are they called?
They're X portals or X zones. It's something. They're electron diffusion zones that randomly will pop up around the globe, and it literally opens like an energetic portal. And this is fact check true, from the sun to the Earth. And sometimes they'll pop up in the same places, sometimes they're randomly, but I'm wondering how often these things pop up around these sorts of sites. Thanks, Kitty Woo.
Way more than we'll ever know because they haven't told us. They don't tell us shit, but
right. You figured they would be low. Atlanta's a wild place, man. Wild. Thanks, Kitty Woo, for the cookie, and Stacks for another cookie. I love you too, Sooks. I love you too. Yeah, that's crazy. I wanted it to be the Devil's Ley line, man. Thanks, Asty Ball, for the cookie. Look at you guys coming with the love. Yeah, so I wanted it to be the devil's fault. I'm just gonna blame them anyway.
The circle of latitude is also what it is called. So that was a trick. So that's because it goes around the planet, So they call it the circle of latitude. That's the other nickname for the 37th parallel. But yeah, apparently, I don't know where else in the world, but definitely across the United States, it's a hot spot.
Imagine that.
And then the Devil's Ley line I just made up.
Damn it.
And the 25th meridian is just something differently altogether.
Well, I'm going to use the Devil's Ley line for things. It's got to exist. It's totally a real thing. Maybe that's where the blues, we talked about it on here, the blues guy that sold his soul down in Mississippi. Maybe that's the Devil's Ley line. Possibly.
That's funny.
All right. Well, speaking of hot spots, According to a list compiled by Stacker, which state has the most UFO sightings? Okay, is it, yeah, right? Is it A, Florida, B, Arizona, C, California, or D, Washington, D.C.? Yes, I know it's not a state. They included it in the list. So, according to a list compiled by Stacker, which state has the most UFO sightings? Florida, Arizona, California, or D.C.?
I'm going to go with Arizona.
Arizona? Seems legit.
Yeah,
That's
well,
okay, Golden Crisp. We love you anyway.
It's over in that area.
Yes, Robert Johnson. Exactly.
It's over in the area of the where I was just talking about, and there's tons of vortexes and stuff.
I bet.
But I do know in 2019, Missouri had the most sightings in the United States in 2019, according to MUFON records.
What y'all got going on over there, huh?
Well, we're close to the 37th parallel too. So.
Oh, imagine that! Imagine that. Yes,
well, it does
Robert Johnson.
It does run through Missouri, but yeah.
He did some Hellhounds, and what else did he do? I have a couple of them on my playlist. They're creepy. All right, guys, it is California, of course. California with 10,333 sightings. Now, Florida came in second with, this is a discrepancy, like a disparity here, rather. So California had 10,333 sightings. Florida has 5,826. Arizona was number 7 with 3,188. And then D.C. has the least sightings of all with 87 reported sightings. And imagine that.
I mean, add that. That's 4 states added up.
That's just 4 states.
That's an insane number.
Isn't it?
Yeah, it's an insane number of sightings. Like, come on now.
Isn't it?
Something's going on.
And it's funny because they bring up contact in the desert. They're like, there's no surprise that California would have the most sightings considering they have contact in the desert every year. Right? What I did not realize, they said the first recorded UFO sighting was aside from like the wood cuttings and stuff, guys, and I know but they say is in 1639 when John Winthrop, and this is in the United States, John Winthrop wrote in his diary about a large strange light in the sky that was shooting back and forth. Now imagine in 1639, like you can't blame drones or planes and shit, right? Like you see something in the sky swooping all around, you're gonna be like, definitely gonna blame it on the devil for sure. I'm certain he did that. And then the first documented image of a UFO was captured in 1870 on the summit of Mount Washington in New Hampshire, right? And of course, they say, more sightings ended up being reported at Mount Rainier in Washington in 1947, and then, of course, Roswell and countless numbers of sightings elsewhere. We had talked on here before about the insurance, the abduction insurance that Geico sells, right?
Yeah, it's a real thing.
It's a real thing. Apparently, more than 40,000 Americans bought alien protection insurance, right? Which, as we discussed, gives you monetary relief should a loved one get, abducted.
If you can prove it.
Or if you get pregnant. There's another clause like where they give a certain amount of money, like if you get impregnated by an alien. Which is crazy.
It's 100% real, legit shit that happens. That's why they're just making an insurance policy for it. Like, and the people who see it. I mean,
well, if 2022 goes the way that everybody is pushing it, I mean, alien protection insurance might not be a bad thing to have. I'm saying, right?
Right. I got an implant. People are going to be injecting themselves with implants.
Right, for sure. It's crazy.
Jenny Girl says, in the roof.
Tucson was ranked number 4 for most sightings in the U.S. city in either 2019 or 2020. Not too sure. That doesn't surprise me. Arizona has a lot of sightings, man.
Yeah, I know. That's why I thought. But oh well. All right, ready?
Bring it.
According to Pete Peterson, a scientist who spent his life working for the secret space program, we live in what scientists now call the information field, the quote, information field. Otherwise known as what? A, the source field. B, consciousness. C, the ether. D, the infinity field. According to Pete Peterson, a scientist who spent his life working for the secret space program, we live in what scientists now call the information field, otherwise known as what? A, the source field. B, consciousness. C, the ether. D, the infinity field.
I'm going with the source field. I don't know why. And yes, alien girl, abduction insurance. Like for sure, we even pulled up the what Geico sells it, right?
It's
It
on the
was Geico,
website.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then there was another London based
Or was it
insurance company.
progressive?
I
Yeah, I
thought it
don't
was
know.
Geico. I could
It
have
might
sworn
be.
it was
It might be
Geico.
Geico. Um,
And then there was another London based insurance agency that also sold abduction insurance. Thank you, Stacks, for the can and for the cookie. And Thumper Rose, I will gladly accept your love. Thank you for that as well.
so we have A, B, A, C, C, A through C. That's awesome. I need some reduction insurance. Hey.
You got to be able to prove it though. Apparently, this is part of the thing. Like you got to have some proof for them to pay out.
So the answer is the ether, C.
Damn it.
So, and that's what Tesla was tapping into. That's what Tesla was talking about. And apparently they wrote the ether out of all of these mathematical and physics equations whenever they, published them in our textbooks. They wrote, I forget what the guy's name was, who decided that the ether was nothing. There's nothing to it. And they pulled it out of all the Tesla's equations. And that's what they're teaching us. So they're leaving one huge component out. And that's why everyone's hitting a dead end. That's why they think we can't reach the speed of light. That's why they think we can't time travel, whatever, because they don't understand it, because it's literally been stripped from the equations before they even teach it. So it's very interesting that they call it the information field in the SSP.
Well, I'm still convinced that Tesla was talking to he was getting downloads from the Black Knight satellite, but who knows? But yeah, here you go. Apparently, Geico does offer alien abduction insurance. I think. Let me see. Yeah, it's only $19.95 a month at TGS Insurance. Damn, there's a lot of companies carrying this now.
Competition, they have to.
AmFam Auto Insurance, or yeah, Auto OTTO. Crunel. That's crazy. So,
but apparently, if we understood the ether, how it actually works, we would easily understand time travel and all of the above, because it's all entirely possible.
They just want to make us figure it out from,
Well, they don't want us to figure it out at all. That's the whole purpose.
Well, yeah, and there's that, right? There's that there, but I think we're getting better. As a matter of fact,
we are 100%.
Like, and I know that like it kills me on Space Force News. Like when I do science or tech section, like people are always like, we've been known about this. Like, yes, but at least this is the information they're giving us. Like this week, I know I'm covering an article where they're talking about how they are now admitting to being able to that they've manipulated space time on a measurable level at this point. They've now been able to manipulate and distort space-time on a measurable level. Like, I mean, we're getting information out here, which means that whether we had to start from scratch and figure it out on our own, there are people out there working on these problems, and they've got to come with the real information at some point. It might take for freaking ever.
Well, a lot of it is out there. It just never makes it mainstream, but you can go online and find forums and scientific journals and stuff where this stuff is talked about and released. And there are groups of real scientists that are always questioning things and coming and constantly changing their theories. There's no facts to what they're researching. They're always open-minded. It's nice. That's what we need.
Yeah, then they just silence those people real quick.
Real quick, yeah.
Alien girl still tripping on the insurance. I'll be pissed if I get abducted, so this is great. I say the same thing all the time. Like I had that ship. I think did I show you, Tyler? Yeah, I did. I sent it to you, the video above my house or whatever. And Alara's like, talk to it. I'm like, I'm not freaking talking to it. Like, I don't want it on my lawn. It's fine where it's at. Just, I'm cool looking at it. Just leave me out of the equation, man.
You gotta talk to her. I always talk to him. She knows what she's talking about.
Oh, what's going on here, Freeze? Right? Yeah, I'm not talking to it, man.
Did I ever tell you what happened with that MUFON sighting, that UFO sighting in Missouri over the arch?
No, I don't think so.
2017, I think, there was a UFO sighted over the arch. There was two of them, one big bright one and a smaller one. It was caught on security cameras. It was caught on like a live news feed. So MUFON did an investigation. Long story short, they determined without a shadow of a doubt, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that this is in fact unidentified. We don't know what it is.
So not swamp gas.
No, but
Oh.
what's what's interesting is, okay, nobody thought it would be a drone because you're not allowed to fly drones over our national
Right.
monument. It's like a $20,000 fine, something crazy.
Hell no. Ain't
So they
nobody got
thought
time for that.
nobody would be dumb enough to do that, especially two people. But what they didn't know is that that was actually my friend and his drone. And there was another thing. They decided, you're muted.
I said, so he was dumb enough to do that.
Yeah, so
It's
it was
fantastic.
it was 3 in the morning. Him and his buddy were drunk. They lived down near downtown, and he's a big drone pilot. He crop dust field with his drones and everything. Like,
Oh.
but what he did, the reason they ruled out drone is because it was too bright. They said there are no drones on the market that was this bright. They never thought that a drunk guy was going to strap a big halogen light to his drone at 3 a.m. and fly it up over the and then the other small UFO was his buddy's drone filming it. And he was telling me this whole story. So I was like, no shit. I was like, I just was at the MUFON meeting and they're going to have a presentation on this entire sighting next month. And they're going to break it down and analyze the results, because there's even security footage of a guy under the arch in a truck bringing a drone down and getting in his truck and leaving. But they said that it didn't correlate. Somehow MUFON decided that wasn't the same
that
time.
does not speak well for MUFON, man.
I know. But it was him. So they determined, I sat there the whole time knowing that it was my friend, and I sat through that presentation, and their analysis was that it was definitely an extraterrestrial vehicle of
the aliens
unknown
were out
origin.
that night, right?
They were so serious, and they're like, the guy did the math on all the laws, that all the fines that would have added up from all the laws that he broke by flying over airspace, over a national park, blah blah blah. It was like $35,000 worth of fines or something.
Good Lord. Right.
But MUFON said, nope, this is a UFO.
It's the damn aliens, man. They're out there.
They don't think about stuff. Yeah, they're right. There are no drones that bright, but they don't think about a drunk person doing something just crazy for no reason at all.
Drunk people doing stuff, man. There's a whole Reddit devoted to that. It's one of my favorite places.
and I never said anything about it at that meeting because I knew they would question me, and I didn't want to get my friend in trouble.
No. Right.
So I just like, I'm on.
Right. I don't know. Right.
One of the guys I was with, he knew the story too. He knew that my friend did it, and after he saw MUFON's analysis of it, he quit going to the meetings.
I bet.
He was like, I'm never trusting them again.
Hell no, right?
Yeah.
That's a mess. What up, Keystone? Good to see you. And yes, Golden Crisp, get off my lawn. I will Clint Eastwood the shit out of some aliens landing on my yard. You're damn right. Right? Yeah, they might be messy, Sookie. I don't picking up alien beer cans and whatnot. Ain't nobody got time for that. Parking and making a mess and shit. Nobody's doing all that. Right? Speaking of UFOs, since we're on the subject, what UFO channel on YouTube made the mainstream news last week for finding a TR-3B in the background of a 1960s NASA photo taken during the Apollo mission?
I can't believe I don't know this.
Oh.
I didn't hear about this.
Yes, let me give you some. So was it Scott Waring's UFO Sightings Daily? Was it Third Phase of Moon? Was it Tyler Glockner from Secure Teen 10? Or was it 1 Foot in 5D?
Man, I'm going to guess Third Phase of Moon just because that was my immediate guess.
Right.
But I don't know. It could be anyone. And if Laura discovered that, why didn't she tell me?
I know, right? It's in the mirror and whatnot. Let me see if I can get this to pull up. Hopefully me clicking stuff doesn't ruin things. Who knows? Let's see here. Nah, buddy. So it was actually, because I gave you guys so long to figure this out, right? Let's see. I see a couple of you guys with the right answer. Yeah, it was Secure Team. No, I do love Mr. MB333 though. He has some good stuff. Yeah, it was Tyler Glockner from Secure Team. Let me see if I can get. Man, I don't remember where it is in the video, but you can definitely see it. He was going through, and I mean, this was in like, I think Newsweek had it, The Sun, The Mirror, like all these big
The
places had it.
Earth.
I
So then they were
definitely
planning
scrolled
on
past
going
that,
to
but
the
I
moon.
hardly
But
watch
first,
UFO
they had
videos
to
anymore
get into space, learn
me
how
because
to
see.
I don't know
orbit,
what to
and then
believe.
years later, they would
Hold
build
on, I'm
the
letting the
moon
video
lander
play
and
for
go to the
them
moon.
real
And
quick.
so this is a photo that was snapped by one of the astronauts doing
I
spacewalks
know
I
you
before
can't see
definitely,
it.
coming safely
I can
back
see it.
down to Earth. And first of all, this photo
For
is
some reason,
sideways.
the
So
delay
let's
is
flip
not
it
as
up to
bad
the
today.
correct perspective here. And remember, this photo was taken from space. So you are looking at thousands upon thousands of miles from one end of the picture to the other. And just like in the past photos of the dark triangular craft seen above Earth in shuttle missions that happened many decades later, well, as we're zooming in, this was discovered to be lurking amongst these clouds all the way back
Yeah,
in the
buddy.
mid-60s when this photo was taken. See that little dot there? That's our baby right there. I mean, this thing is virtually undetectable. Even when the photo is just halfway zoomed in, it's still hard to see. But when we go all the way in, we get yet another dark
that.
triangle UFO that seems to be at an angle.
That
as
there's
if
a
it's
spaceship,
flying
sir.
right above the clouds.
I mean, somebody really
right
had
at
to
the
do some.
line where
How
the
did they
Earth's
catch that?
atmosphere
I mean, they had to have
meets
been zooming in
space,
already
almost
looking
like
for
it was
something
just
else.
orbiting.
I don't know, but it amazes me sometimes the stuff that they can find, like in old photos when they're looking. Um, yeah, buddy, Secure Team 10. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how the hell he even saw that because if you like you he showed the original photo, you can't see anything.
That's what I mean. Like,
Nothing. Like you'd
unless
have to be sitting there like,
he's been involved in some weird stuff. I wouldn't even believe if he was tipped off about that, like, or given that footage.
maybe, I don't
I
know.
think he has ties that maybe we don't understand, we don't realize. I'm not joking. He remember all that crazy shit that happened to him a few years
Yeah,
ago.
that was crazy. I
Well,
don't
no,
know.
I'm
I'm
telling
a
you,
long time follower. I'm a fan. Like,
no, I'm not saying deep state ties. I think he's in, like, might know some people is what I'm saying.
oh, I don't listen. You got a UFO channel that big on YouTube. Like, you've ruffled some feathers. You probably made some contacts. You definitely know some people.
Right.
You
Like,
probably get dropped all kinds of info.
I feel like that was handed to him. Like, sometimes these people use programs like that
Oh,
for
I
self
bet.
disclosure. They'll give them, here, take this. You can, tell this to your audience, see how they respond or
Hell
whatever.
yeah. And that was in the 60s, man. And
Yeah.
it's,
Yeah. Well, yeah, because they know that shit. They don't care about the old stuff anymore.
right. But I mean,
All right.
that was some good footage, man. Good footage. Good find.
This one, everyone should know,
Everybody should
but
know.
everyone won't know. The signing of this treaty was supposed to limit the number of humans the Greys were allowed to take off planet in exchange for alien technology. This includes those who would never return.
Ooh.
A, the MJ-12 Treaty. B, the Desert Accord Treaty. C, the Jupiter Agreements. D, the Greta Treaty.
D.
The signing of this treaty was supposed to limit the number of humans the Greys were allowed to take off planet in exchange for alien technology. This includes those who would never return. The MJ-12 Treaty, the Desert Accord Treaty, the Jupiter Agreements, or the Greta Treaty.
Yes, D. I'm going with D.
D.
Yeah.
Notice how they say limit the number because they were already doing it, but it was getting way out of hand.
And like, come on, man. Like, you sign a treaty with some aliens, like they're just about to be like, all right, we'll follow those rules. Sure, we will.
Right.
Come on now.
So
Come on.
the answer is D, the Greta Treaty.
Woohoo.
And guess what? I did not even know this. I was doing a little digging to see what Greta meant. I'm like, what's the Greta Treaty? Greta, Greta, is the group of experts on action against trafficking in human beings. So that's actually a group that's based out of Europe. Greta is a group of experts that on action against trafficking of human beings, which this is technically, that's what that is.
Now, this was the one Eisenhower signed, right?
Well, yeah, apparently there's a lot of controversy around that, but apparently they signed it behind his back. MJ-12 signed it behind his back, but he got framed. because it was a terrible agreement to allow them to abduct us.
It was in exchange for tech. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I thought this
So
was the one where he like disappeared for a couple of days and he was out in the desert signing this treaty, or is that just a story they tell?
I don't know what happened. Yeah, there's a few different stories surrounding that signing, but yeah, that could have been it. But Greta Thunberg, yeah. But the Greta Treaty, a group of experts on action against trafficking of human beings. So it's interesting that that was the treaty. I had no idea that that was what that stood for.
Yeah, they were supposed to only take X amount of humans, and they were supposed to report the humans that they took, right?
Mhm.
And they were supposed to wipe memories, and there were all these stipulations, and apparently they didn't follow any of that shit. They were like,
No,
all right, yeah, we're gonna do what we
according
want
to
because you can't do anything about it. And
according to Tony Rodriguez, that was all part of a ploy to come and infiltrate our government. So he said this because Tony in the space program was on a mission to another planet who didn't believe in aliens. And they were literally bringing cargo from Diego Garcia to this other planet who was like in this 80s type of era. And he said they didn't believe in aliens, but the government knew. So he went down with their group of guys and made an agreement, the exact same type of agreement in exchange for technology. And Tony, he said, because he's a slave in the programs, and he was all excited because they gave him a smart glass pad for the first time. And like he felt important and he was part of this meeting. And as soon as they left, uh, the guy would like took the pad away from him because he thought he was getting ready to like take this seriously. He was going to figure out all the technology that they were going to trade him. And he's like, no, we're not giving them anything. He's like, he goes, the next group of guys is going to come in, and there's going to be another group that's going to come in and give them their spiel. And it's like a playbook, how they take over planets. And so he said, that's what happened here. It was all big ploy to begin with. It was never a real agreement. It was just a setup. And then another group comes and makes a different offer. And then before you know it, so what would happen was the next group would come in and try and ally with the humans and say that this first group is the enemy.
Isn't that kind of exactly what happened here?
Yeah, exactly. So he said, this is a textbook. This is the playbook that they use to take over planets, is what Tony said. That's what they told him in the programs.
Freeze says that's what makes aliens demonic, because they can't do things without humans opening the door. Yeah. You guys know what I think. I don't trust none of it. Right?
Right.
Oh, what up, Aaron? Good to see you. Truth Quest. It's a cookbook, right? Right? How to prepare humans.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. And Tony's got an interesting story. Like, I'll give it to you. And for those of you that don't know, Tyler's done interviews with this guy, Tony Rodriguez, on his channel several times. Thanks, Nancy Lucky, for the phone. Much love to you. And he's going to be speaking at the conference. You guys should check out his story.
His book is fantastic, but it's heavy. It's like X-rated because some of the shit they were doing to him in the programs was it's like he says he says it's embarrassing writing down his story and putting it in the book, but it's what happened, you know. And
right. I can imagine.
People need to know that this stuff is going on. And what's interesting about his story is the first 7 years of his testimony happened on Earth. He was in the first 7 years of his time in the programs was on Earth, and he was able to prove all the locations, everything that happened to him on Earth, like it's all valid. It all checks out. This stuff off planet, you just can't prove because obviously we can't get off planet.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so if the first half is all backed up and proven, then why wouldn't the second half be true?
I'm just saying, if there are schools and jails and whatnot and all in one building on Mars, I mean, that seems legit to me. Right?
Right. Ares Prime. Ares Prime is it's a capital major city.
Oh, is that the name of the place?
Ares Prime, yeah. Which actually, if you watch the movie Dune, the big capital city is called something else Prime, but it's the same. It's real similar to Ares Prime.
Dune was awesome.
Yeah.
By the way.
Yeah, there's major disclosure in that. Like
That was such a good movie.
those shields that they wear,
I
that
need one
suit.
of those.
I've heard that described by a lot of whistleblowers. They said you can put it. There's different ones. Some of them strapped to your chest, on your wrist. It's very very real, apparently, according to the whistleblowers.
Right? That's crazy. Crazy. Oh, Yuvonda said she's going to the conference. And Suitor.
Yes,
Oh, Suitor, you will be there. Excellent.
right,
Excellent.
right, yeah, starting to shape up.
Right? All
All
right.
right, what do you got for us? What's
Switching
next?
gears. Switching gears a little bit. Conspiracists believe businesses dispose of dangerous byproducts from phosphate mines and fertilizers by doing what? Okay, conspiracists believe that businesses dispose of dangerous byproducts from phosphate mines and fertilizers by doing what? Is it A, adding it to drinking water, B, spraying it in chemtrails, C, adding it to pet food, or D, using it in jabs?
B. Chemtrails. Final answer.
Final answer? Let's see what the peeps think. Yeah, I guess this could actually be kind of a tricky question. Maybe a little bit. But the key is phosphate mines, right? Suki says it's putting them in water. Well, that would be answer
Well,
A, Suki, and the answer is never A, right? Frightening Me
could be.
says
I mean,
fluoridating our
definitely.
water.
Well, I know that. Yeah, I know they fluoridate. Well,
Golden Crisp says it is, guys. It's putting it in the water, but I also believe they spray that shit in chemtrails too. Don't get me
right.
wrong. Thanks,
I've
First
heard
Branch,
that.
for the cookie.
I've heard that somewhere. Yeah, they take like a. Anyway, yeah,
Yeah, well,
that'd be the
so
answer.
that's disgusting. Number one, putting it like so the fluoride in our water, right? Apparently these mines use these things called wet scrubbers. They're like pollution control devices that the phosphate industry uses to capture fluoride gases when they're producing commercial fertilizer. So in the past, the industry would just let these gases escape, right? And I mean, it was ruining vegetation. I mean, crops were screwed, cattle were, murked. It was a horrible situation. So now the stuff is captured in these scrubbers, and the hydrofluorosilicic acid, which is classified as a hazardous waste, is barreled up and sold unrefined to communities across the country. They add this hydrofluorosilicic acid to their water supplies as the primary fluoride chemical for water fluoridation, right? Which is crazy. And they say even if you live in a community where they're not adding fluoride to the water, because they use it in the production of cereal, soda, beer, juice, any kind of
Every
processed food and drink. Yeah,
toothpaste.
yeah, you're getting it anyway, right?
Right.
You're
Yeah,
getting
it's
it
just
anyway, which
it's.
is
But I don't drink tap water anyway. I haven't in years. But I literally, it's hilarious because we pay for our water bill, but we don't get to drink it. I have to go to the water station that has a reverse osmosis system. I could put one on my house, but I go to the one nearest my house and I fill up jugs and I carry the jugs home. And then I have my plasma GANs charging station and I add a little pink Himalayan salt for minerals and stuff like that. But I won't. If you're used to drinking clean water for so long, and you go back to tap water,
oh,
it's
I can
fucking
imagine.
disgusting.
I can
Yeah,
imagine. And it's crazy because like even as early as like 1983, there was a lady, Rebecca Hanmer, who was a deputy assistant administrator for water at the EPA. And I mean, she came out and said like that the industry looks at this as like the ideal solution to a long-standing product, and that it's minimizing the water and air pollution. But went ahead to say like they're still dumping it into these wastewater ponds. It's seeping into the groundwater. Like it basically we're at the point now where it doesn't matter what you do, right? You're gonna get dosed with this shit. I don't know. It's crazy.
The Batman Begins movie with Christian Bale. That whole plot was them dumping poison into the water supply.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, I
Yes, it
mean,
was.
more disclosure.
I don't know, man. What Jeffrey Steinquist says, well water here. Yeah, well, I mean that's good, but like I said, if it's leaching into the groundwater from these freaking wastewater ponds they have surrounding these industrial sites, like it's polluting groundwater as well.
Right.
Like,
That's why reverse osmosis is good, but it strips everything. So you're not getting any minerals. That's why you're supposed to add salt back into it.
right?
But yeah,
Man, I don't know. I don't.
don't drink the tap water.
You know who doesn't fluoridate their water and who has seen IQ levels rise almost exponentially is China.
Really?
Uh-huh.
I
Imagine
think you
that.
told me that
Yeah.
actually. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
buddy. They
another.
don't fluoridate their water. They stop that shit. And then they noticed a developmental surge in their kids. They noticed that IQs on general went up across the population. Like it was a crazy thing. But
Yeah.
somehow, you know, the US wants you to believe that this is great. This is a great plan, guys. It's a great plan.
Well, that's why microwaves were banned in the 70s in Russia because they were literally pumping radiation into your food, and they're promoted like hell over here. And actually, there's a whole list of countries that have banned microwaves. We're one of the last ones that's still it's even legal.
Man, I'm not gonna lie. I don't know what I would do without the microwave. Like, I don't have time. Like, I do cook. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I will cook, especially
Right.
like homemade Italian food. Like, I do that routinely. But like, just when I'm sitting here working 12, 14, 15 hours a day, like sometimes that's all you got, man. It's a microwave.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, shit, we all lived on it, but I haven't. Mine's just become storage. I haven't used it.
Suiterbug said, "Has anybody else watched Moonfall? I heard that it was so bad that it was awesome. Like, I fully want to see this movie.
I'll see it just because you said that. I love the bad movies.
So do I. I heard it was so bad that it was like the best bad thing ever, and I definitely want to go see it now.
Speaking of Moonfall, ready for the question?
Bring it.
Who was the secret space program whistleblower that was framed for a murder he is accused of having masterminded while on an off-planet mission in service to humanity and remains in prison to this day? Did you catch all that?
Say it one more again for the people in the back.
Who was the secret space program whistleblower that was framed for a murder he is accused of having masterminded while on an off-planet mission in service to humanity and remains in prison to this day on Earth?
Ooh.
A. Captain Mark Richards. B. Michael Gerloff. Or Gerloff, I'm not sure how you say it. C. Kevin Trimmel. Or D. Sean David Morton.
I have no idea. But I know that if I get imprisoned for a murder I committed off-world, I'm going to be pissed.
I'm going to see a couple answers come through just because I'm curious.
I'll go with A. I have no idea.
A. Captain Mark Richards. B. Michael Gerloff. C. Kevin Trimmel. D. Sean David Morton. 3 of those people are all SSP whistleblowers. And one is not a whistleblower, but so we have A, B, A.
All right.
The
Aaron
answer
says
is
A. Must be A.
The answer is A, Captain Mark Richards.
Ah, look. Yay. See, the answer is sometimes A, guys. Sometimes.
So he was framed for something he never did, apparently. And he has an incredible testimony that he had to quit telling because he was literally put in jail.
Right, you better not lock me up for some shit like that. Like, you know.
He was put, yeah. So, but the reason he was put in jail was because of apparently something he did off planet, which proves that everything he's talking about exists. So it's totally weird.
Do we know what he was charged with? Like, can we look it up? Thank you, Life of Brian, for the shades.
It was masterminding a murder.
So conspiracy.
Yeah, basically. So Carrie Cassidy was the only person who actually interviewed him while he was in jail. So there's an interview on Project Camelot where
Joyful June just said that Project Camelot interviewed him.
Right, while he was in jail. But now his wife, Joanne Richards, speaks on his behalf at conferences, and because she's obviously involved too, but he's been involved since he was a kid, basically having experiences with like these raptor beings and all this shit. But the thing about his testimony is, or when he's interviewed, it's not like he has like this one frame of reference where he's getting all of his information. It's like he has like this intergalactic data bank of knowledge that he's just tapping into everything that he is asked.
Intergalactic, planetary, planetary,
it's not like he just has his testimony. It's like he's like been living this life. His consciousness has been in this other program in this other world for so long. So when he's interviewed, it's nothing like any of the other whistleblowers. It's literally like talking to someone else who lives off planet.
Man, I would be
Pretty wild.
furious to go to jail for that. I'll tell you what.
Michael Gerloff, he had an incredible testimony. Michael Sala interviewed him 5 times. Something happened to him. Don't know what happened, but he quit talking. He refuses to speak publicly anymore. Kevin Trimmel, same thing. Apparently, he is no longer living his life as a he.
Well, there's
and
that.
then Sean David Morton is also in prison. He was an alien psychic, and apparently he was an author / psychic, and he was given information that he could turn into science fiction and put it in his book. Well, he started taking that information and disclosing it as truth, and he got put in jail over it.
Man, yeah, y'all ain't locking me up for that. I'll tell you what. Successful Sarah said, why is he in jail? For a murder off-world, apparently. Or planning a murder off-world.
Yeah.
Something along those lines. That's crazy, dude. That's crazy. You said alien psychic. Speaking, I don't know why it made me think of this, but just so you guys know. Aw, thanks, Mr. Fox. Much love to you. Thanks for the super chat. You're gonna be back? I'll be here, sir. I will be here. Monday, I have got my dude Jeremy Reese, alien scientist, coming on the conspiracy couch with Alara and myself. We're going to do an interview with him. Going to be talking about the nuts and bolts of UFOs. This dude literally works in a lab with other scientists, like trying to build UFOs. So we're going to have a good conversation with him. It's supposed to be at 8 p.m. 8 p.m. on Monday on Alara's channel, 1 Foot in 5D. So come check that out. While it was on my mind. I don't know why alien psychic made me think of alien scientist, but
it sounds like it. Sounds
right?
The same.
Whatevs. Definitely come check that out. I'm excited. I've been trying to get a hold of him for a minute, so this should be good. This should be good. In other weird news, and some of you guys who watch Space Force News, you should know the answer to this. Ilya Stutzgiver, chief scientist of the OpenAI research group, recently tweeted out what?
No idea.
Okay. Is it A, that we will have sentient AI in less than 10 years? B, that some of our artificial intelligence tech came from extraterrestrial sources? C, that large neural nets may already be conscious? Or D, that Elon Musk is in fact a robot? So Ilya Stutzgiver, this is the chief scientist at OpenAI Research Group, right? They did GPT-3, right? This is serious shit now. Got on Twitter and tweeted out what? Was it A, that we will have sentient AI in less than 10 years? B, that some of our artificial intelligence tech actually comes from the aliens? C, that large neural nets may already be conscious? Or D, that Elon Musk is in fact a robot?
I'm going to go with C.
Right, I'll give you guys a minute to ponder on this.
We got C's and B's coming in.
C's and B's, right? A,
possibly D.
Possibly D. Could possibly be D.
I'm going to start saying that before all my answers. Possibly C.
Possibly C. Possibly D.
Can't go wrong that way.
Right. Oh, it sounds like something ruckus is happening here. Yeah, it's C. This dude, that large neural nets may already be conscious. Now, this has caused a ruckus in the AI community. I'll tell you what, right? So OpenAI's top researcher made a startling claim that artificial intelligence may already be gaining consciousness, right? This Ilya Stutzgiver guy tweeted out, it may be that today's large neural networks are slightly conscious. What the hell does that? It's slightly conscious. Like, dude,
they are.
Yeah, I know, right?
You're just letting it leak.
That's a huge claim, right? And now, listen, I completely believe that. We've talked about this before. Like, you feed enough data into a system, like, and it's got enough. Like, I mean, we have shown examples of, AI working with other AI, reprogramming itself, like all sorts of things, right?
Writing its own religion.
Yeah, right. Yes, that was the GPT-3, the Jesus AI Jesus, right? I was tripping about that for a minute, right? So, so the widely accepted idea among AI researchers is that obviously we've made great strides in the past decade, but we are nowhere near an actual like human intelligence, right? Much less experiencing the world as like a conscious being, right? This guy literally got on Twitter and said that. And I mean, the memes that followed that were great. I wish I could click and show you. They were hysterical, right? This isn't like the first controversy with the OpenAI group. Like there was an example where they made this like fake news text generator that they then determined was too dangerous to be released. I mean, there have been other crazy examples of this group doing some crazy. I mean, the AI Jesus speaks on its own, but
there's no way that they shut the fake news text generator down. I guarantee that's still running a website.
Right.
Which website? Right. You know, I know you know.
I don't, but I should put some time into figuring that out, right?
Because there's a lot of these clickbait bullshit sites that have these fantastical headlines and stuff, and
it seems totally legit, right?
And sometimes and what the problem is I see on these websites is they throw in real articles,
don't they?
In between, so you're like, well, not so. Then you don't know what's fake and what's not. Yeah, so they really muddy the waters that way.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, there was a chatbot that was based on the GPT-3 model that one programmer got convinced it to emulate his dead fiance, and then there was a group of gamers that manipulated the GPT-3 to convince the bot to spew out pedophilic shit online. Like we've seen, because these things adapt to the data they're being fed, just like the AI Jesus. It was fed all of these scriptures, and then from that it constructs its own scriptures and spews them out on Twitter, right? So like you get enough people pushing enough data to this thing, you can manipulate its behavior. Well, so we've seen scandals with projects from OpenAI before, but this dude's saying that the large neural nets may already be like, I buy that.
Yeah, of course.
I really do.
I think we know the tech is far advanced than what we know, far more advanced than what we know. So,
I mean, to be honest, I think they probably had made great strides, a decade ago. And just don't want to release the information. Like this shit is mildly terrifying.
Well,
hey, wise mama bat.
Dan Willis, who we just had on our show, was working on a type of hologram healing, which is now will be known as a med bed technology. In the 80s, he legitimately worked on it. He said in the 80s they had a quantum camera that could see into the future and into the past, and they would go and get a blueprint of your DNA when your body was at its optimal shape, whatever, and then they would overlay that blueprint, energetic blueprint, over the body, and this is how they were able to heal people, because it takes them back or forward in time whenever they're going to be the most optimal version of themselves. So this is how they regrow limbs, because it's like some type of overlay. And he said this is what the secret space programs talk about: med beds and regen tanks. It's all done with this quantum camera that can see into the future, and it takes thousands of pictures of your body, and then it compiles them all and finds the most optimal version of you, and then it basically prints it, and then that's how you grow your.
Well, a camera that can see into time sounds a lot like the chronovisor.
Right. And he said that all you need is the slightest bit of your DNA, a hair, anything, and they can do your whole blueprint.
Well, if they want to come overlay me to about 10 years ago, that'd be freaking fantastic. I'll tell you what. Man.
Yeah. But he was working on this in the 80s. In the 80s, they had this, and we're still, they're still selling us freaking whatever.
Robot vacuums, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Whatever works, man. Whatever
works. They're still selling us painkillers. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. All right. While we're at it, more secret space program stuff,
There you
because
go.
obviously that's all I care about. It's the most fascinating. That's what gets me. That's what gets me going. That's what whatever makes me tick. That's
There you
what I
go.
can't even talk. That's what makes me tick.
It makes you tick.
An unnamed Project Camelot whistleblower who claimed he had been jumping back and forth. Let me start over. An unnamed Project Camelot whistleblower who claimed he had been jumping back and forth to Mars from an underground facility based in Texas claims that our SSP is actually dealing with a blank version of Mars and not the Mars we see when we look through our telescopes. A, future. B, fourth dimensional. C, past. D, holographic. So he claims that our secret space program is actually dealing with a blank version of Mars and not the Mars we see when we look through our telescopes. A future version, a fourth dimensional version, a past version, or a holographic version.
I'm going to go with either future or past. Let's see. Possibly A, possibly D. Right? Was that future and past?
Possibly. Yeah, I want
Right.
to see what people say. This really brings up some interesting thoughts, though. If any of them are true, because
Man, right?
that would mean, like, on what timeline did all this happen? So the answer is, in fact, B, fourth dimensional.
Oh, I was all the way wrong. Look at that. Fourth dimensional version of Mars. Okay.
Yeah, he
All
claims
right.
that we are dealing with a fourth dimensional version of Mars, and if we were to actually make it there by conventional means, we would not find anything that these guys are talking about because it's literally in a different dimension. This is what he says. Makes you wonder.
I buy that. Thanks, Wise Mama Bear, for the cookie.
Or it's all compartmentalized. Maybe the program he was in was specifically jumping to another dimension. So
maybe. Getting your drink on. Look at that.
I mean, those jump rooms are real. Look at every ancient site has a doorway and a rock wall that goes nowhere.
Hey,
If
I'm
you go,
a huge fan of Stargate. I
right.
believe that shit's probably somewhere. Like, whatever. Right? I want to go somewhere cool. As
Matthew
long as they
Moynihan
bring me back.
said, "Whoa, I was hoping it was 40." By the way, Matthew is going to be at our conference now as a vendor.
Ooh.
Him and his wife are going to be there. He's going to be offering his services, doing sessions, and yeah, so he is going to be there. If you want to come hang out and book a session with Matthew in person, he will be there.
That'll be awesome for sure. Oh, you doing good today, Bran? That's fantastic, right?
That was my last question, by the way.
Oh, that was your last. Okay, we'll do. Well, it's already 9:22. We'll do maybe one or two more. Let me see here. Where'd the Zunies go?
I'm good with just one more. Let's do one good one.
One good. Okay, let me see what we got here. Man, I got so many here. Okay, all right. What is the name? We haven't done anything on the occult today. What is the name of the 400-page occult text that reveals how to obtain energy from the cosmos? Okay, what is the name of the 400-page occult text that reveals how to obtain energy from the cosmos? Yes, Mr. Fox, I do. Is it A, the Lesser Key of Solomon, B, the Malleus Maleficarum, C, the Picatrix, or D, the Greater Key of Solomon?
What's that Pikachu one?
Right? Doesn't it sound like the Picatrix? It's the Pikachu.
What was the first one?
The Lesser Key of Solomon, the Malleus Maleficarum, the Picatrix, or the Greater Key of Solomon?
I'm going to go with D.
The Greater Key of Solomon. Thank you, Cloaked, for the cookie. Want to help a fellow Patriot out? Need subs to new YouTube. You got booted for cyberbullying, eh? Thanks, First Branch, for the ship. Much love to you. Thank you. Put your link for your new YouTube in my chat, Cloaked. I'll help you out. All right, what do we got? We got C, D, A, D, we got B, greater, A, everybody all over the board. Nobody has an idea. The answer is, dun dun dun, dun the Pikatrix. It's the Pikachu one, man. Of course it's the
Damn, I
Pikachu
thought
one.
you
Pika
made that
Pika.
one up.
No, that's they're all legit occult books, right? The Malleus Maleficarum is the witch's hammer. That's the one they used to hunt down witches back in the day. The Lesser and Greater Key of Solomon deal primarily with summoning and wrangling demons. And the Pikatrix is the Latin name used for a 400-page book of magic and astrology. It was originally written in Arabic under the title Gayet al-Hakim, right? Um, Most scholars assume it came from like the 11th century. So, what a lot of you guys will appreciate about this, right? They say the work's point of departure is the unity of reality divided into symmetrical and corresponding degrees, planes, or worlds. It's a reality stretched between two poles, right? The original one, God and the source of all existence, and man, the microcosm, who with his science brings the dispersion back to its origin, identifying and using their correspondences. So it talks about like a cosmological background that removes magical practices from the context of like diabolical influences and instead pushes that everything has a divine origin, everything comes from source, right? And then through this manuscripts, the reader can learn to attract and channel the energy of the cosmos so that a certain event develops according to the will of the practitioner, or like zodiac magic, which helps like people master and dominate with accuracy, or through the force of the universe and the nature and its surroundings. So it's how to channel source. It sounds kind of like The Secret, man. It's channel source, and then you get it to manifest whatever it is that you're looking for. um it also talks about not only how to create and ensoul magical statues and talismans, but even talks about whole cities constructed using the principles of this like type of astrological magic,
I believe it.
which is interesting.
100%.
So if you guys are
100%.
interested, it is called the Pikatrix, right? The Pikatrix.
Well, I mean, yeah, we know there's a lot of occult symbolism, and even the way these cities are laid out from Google Earth, you could see the Masonic symbols and all that stuff. So.
Well, they really, it's really different because most books of the time look at it like I don't know, like you're messing with demons or whatever, and this was one of the earlier texts to just say no, this is all source, and you can manifest source, you can channel source, and you can use that energy to create.
I'm not,
you know what I mean?
Right. I wasn't saying it. Yeah, that it was Freemasonry, but I was just using it as an example.
Oh, like, that they built cities around occult. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we know yeah, exactly. It's not just like haphazardly thrown together. Like there's a
there's a layout.
Design.
DC is a perfect example of that. That shit is crazy. There's stuff everywhere with that, right? So yeah, the the Pikatrix.
Templars learned magic. Templars were up to all kinds of shit. I want to know what they buried on Oak Island. That's what I want to know.
I'm waiting to find out. Guys, here is the link to Cloak's channel. I'm dropping it in the YouTube. Go over and give him a sub. He got booted. Needs some help.
I had a session with Ivan Teller, and you're supposed to ask personal questions, but I threw in what was buried on Oak Island, and that didn't come through. But he said there was a reptilian base under Oak Island.
Ooh. Right. Well, maybe that's why nobody can make it down the shaft to the tunnel.
And it's
everybody dies.
Yeah, and there's forces there protecting that whole curse. Like anytime they get close, like the machinery breaks, all that stuff, whatever, people die.
Right, maybe.
Like something always happens. There's like an unseen influence.
Some kind of an energy field or something that's like,
right,
doing its thing there. All right, I'm going to give you guys the scratching on Foxhole. If you got any more gold pills you want to throw, now's the time to do it. Right? Let's see. The scratching should have been released. What else? What you got going on this week, Pyler?
What do I have going on this week? We're going to have another episode of our podcast this week. That's
imagine that. Do we do we get to know who you're talking to?
No, you don't. Not this time.
So spiteful, dude. So at least you gave it to us once, I guess.
Right.
At least you told us the one time, right? What else? Okay, so guys, obviously Space Force News on Sunday, 9 p.m. on 1 Foot and 5D. Go check that out. Monday at 8 p.m. we will be talking with alien scientists. Should be awesome. Come learn some of the actual science behind UFOs. Also, I did put together a video for my own channel, like one of my little educational bits. I should be putting that up maybe this weekend. You guys just kind of keep an eye out. I'm going to be talking about the crazy drug policy in the U.S. right now. Biden has lost his freaking mind. Democrats have made this place a damn hellhole, and I am not down with any of that. I'm going to be talking about domestic drug policy. So come check that out. God knows they want everybody to be an addict. I can't stand it. So
they do. They do.
I'm going to throw a bit about that.
Matthew Monian, he said, I kind of doubt there's anything left on Oak Island, but who knows? So John Vivanco and RGK, both very well-known remote viewers. I've asked them both this question. They both looked into Oak Island, and
you are kind of obsessed with Oak Island, dude.
I am. They both say that there's still something buried there as far as what they're remote viewing. Don't know what it is, but be interesting to see if they're
waiting to see
accurate.
That's right, frightening me. Crack pipes all around, right? That's what we're doing now. That is definitely what we're doing now with the Biden admin, and I'm going to throw a righteous fit about that shit for sure. Thank you, Cloaked, for the cookie. And you guys can catch us back here next Friday at 8 p.m. for another awesome episode of Conspiracy Theory Trivia. Until next time.
Matthew says, I hope there is, though. Seriously. Me too. I don't know. I wouldn't doubt it if there's nothing there either. But I feel like there could be something there.
There's probably something there.
I've been following that show for 12 years now, and like I'm invested. It's the one. It's the one thing I actually tune into to watch every week.
Like they gotta get to the treasure at some point, right? Like at some point in the 57 seasons of the show, they're going to find out what is hidden on freaking Oak Island, man. We want to know. Inquiring minds want to know for sure.
Right.
For sure.
But we'll see.
Right.
I just it intrigues me. It's not even about the like they always say in the show, the history. Like it's interesting learning about because they're rewriting history on mainstream television. That's what's funny about it. Like
Are you surprised?
They're shattering the whole North American narrative about what happened by what they're discovering on that island. So it's almost like they're using that show as a form of self-disclosure. Also.
Oh. Guys, Truth Quest with Aaron Moriarty will be going live soon. Definitely go check him out. Since I've seen that in the chat, go over there. If you haven't gone over and given him a sub, go do that as well. What else? Piler.
That's it.
I feel like there was something else I wanted to say. Who knows, man? Who knows? Shout out to the replay peeps. Much love to the replay peeps. Right?
Our Cloaked Unseen World. Tyler, I plan on being at your conference. Save me a ticket to buy. There'll be tickets left, brother. You just take your time and grab one whenever you can.
Whoop whoop. I'll be hanging out there. I'm going. All right, guys. Much love. See you next time.